Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Francine, and this is my channel, The Hermetic Herald. So I'm here today in a new angle. So I'm gonna see how this works, how the sound is. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. It's like I have to shrink down in order for you guys to see me, so hello. I've been thinking about a number of things for the collective. I feel like there's a number of things that I know you guys are waiting for, so thank you for your patience. There's some things that I'm going to do just in the moment based on what I feel in my gut is something that needs to be talked about. And we have the lovers. We're going to be talking about relationships today. So I'm going to be touching base, and I already had this planned, right? I had a reading planned for Blake Lively and for Ryan Reynolds, and I'm seeing the Hanged Man and the Lovers. So Hanged Man energy is typically about you waiting on something or having some patience, okay? Having to deliberate further on a subject. So the relationship at hand, spending more time in Hanged Man mode is not a bad thing. Sometimes hangman mode is necessary when there's lulls in life and you're used to like all of the excitement that life has. Sometimes you get high on it, and I feel like they're pretty used to and comfortable with each other. So there's this energy of them seeing things from a new perspective with each other already. Okay, so let's get into it. If you're new to my channel, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be going into a number of huge topics very soon. I've started working on them, but I have to take a pause whenever I feel like energetically there's a lot of deeper and really disturbing topics that come up in something or in a reading. So I'm going to hold off on a couple of them and continue into, wowzers, these two. These two have a lot of energy coming through with the Queen of Swords, the Magician, and the Nine of Swords. So the Queen of Swords energy is someone who's very communicative, someone who's very straightforward. It can also just be someone who's also a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, some air sign. This person's manifesting something big. So this could be Blake. This could be just her being in her power, creative power of taking over and taking control and ownership of her life. So this could be just having a relationship and choosing him, choosing to be with him. But there's a Nine of Swords energy, so there's some worry. There's a lot of swords. If you guys are looking at these pictures, these tarot cards, there's just a lot of swords involved with each of them. So there's a lot of thoughts going on with her. I feel like she tends to overthink of the two of them more. So we'll see what she's overthinking on right now. Let's continue because we had a bunch of stuff come out. I don't feel like that's for nothing. So let's see. We have one stack with the Ace of Cups. We have the Knight of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, and we have the Death card. Okay, Nine of Wands. I'll tell you guys what it feels like, what I'm feeling in this reading. Seven of Wands, and we have the Moon, and one more. The Eight of Swords. So we have a lot of indecisiveness coming in with regards to Blake specifically. I'm hearing Ryan as well. It's not just her. Okay, so there's just a lot of emotion, a lot of love, communication. On their family is something I think they take primarily into consideration. I feel like the Nine of Cups energy is their energy though, which tells me that they're very, in a sense, contented. They're very comfortable in their relationship. I feel like they've gone through a number of deaths and rebirths with regards to their relationship. And the number 9 is very significant for them. That's being close to a finale of some sort. So this is turning into something very interesting. So let's keep going. We have a lot of energy for these two. Judgment. Something will come out with regards to the family. They also do have to make a judgment call with their family. So something in regards to their family settings coming through. It could be about one of their children. So usually the Fool is Gemini energy. So we're getting two cards that are indicative of Gemini. Balancing out this person's finances. So it's like their child going off to, for instance, like going off to college or going off to some transition, a new job. They're probably just focusing on making sure that they are very like well balanced before they go. The Death card's coming out again. So yeah, they're ending one cycle, this child, and they're just focusing on them, focusing on making sure that they're good. At least they have the lessons and things that they've understood as a child in their household under their belt, that they know like what they need to hold on to, making sure they're saving up their money, that they're very clear, communicative with their parents. I'm seeing 111 on the clock. So yeah, I'm just getting like already just kind of the energy of them focusing on their children way more. 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. They're very protective of their family, and that's understandable. Let's get into it. So, Spirit Team of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, please help me in understanding their energies. What is their internal and external feelings towards each other? Let's start off with Blake. What is Blake's internal feelings towards Ryan? This turned and then turned over again, so let's get another. What is Blake Lively? What is her internal? And again, that turned twice. I'm going to keep it going. What is her internal feelings towards Ryan Reynolds? Okay, what's her external feelings? Okay. What's her external feelings, Spirit Team? Those are easier. So the stuff on the external are easier for her to talk about because it's already been formed. It's kind of, I'm hearing, cast it into the sea. You guys are aware of it. You guys can reel it out. You guys they have a separate life, of course, but there's like a separateness to her energy towards him internally, and then how she expresses it. She likes to keep it separate to protect the family, to protect their relationship and the dynamic there. What is Ryan's internal feelings towards Blake? Wowzers. He gave me a lot of cards. Let's keep going. I'd rather have them come in one by one than have a stack here. What are Ryan's internal feelings towards Blake Lively, Spirit Team? Thank you for being here with us. Okay, internal. Anything else, Spirit Team? Yeah, we're getting the stacks again. Okay, what else is there to talk about for external feelings? It's a lot. Okay, and what is the end result of this relationship? Let's get into it. So they're very communicative with each other. When you're in a relationship, you don't have to be communicative about the things that hurt you, the things that offend you. You don't really have to do that. You can have a terrible foundation and just continue on with your life and just kind of, kind of accept that we are together. I don't want to go anywhere else. I feel comfortable knowing that I know what's in front of me. I know my enemy, or in some negative ways, people sometimes can have that perception. It can be as extreme as the negatives into the positives. I love my partner. I'm always seeming to agree with them on things. I'm always feeling like we can communicate and things like that. It can be like on a spectrum, as you guys know, I'm hoping. Okay, so there's some energies of people that are negative coming into the reading, so I'm trying to ignore it. But what I can feel from this is that they're very communicative with each other, and that's important. Some people take that for granted, the beauty and the power of communication here. So we have the communicative card with the King of Swords. They're very good at communicating with each other, and I'm getting a lot of air energy. So there's a lot of air signs in the family. It feels like if they have if their sun isn't air, it's definitely in their chart strongly. Mercury and Gemini vibes, Mercury and Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign, but very communicative as well as a Virgo. So 2 of Wands. And so the devil, the magician. So whenever they make a move, make a step in some direction, they talk to each other very firmly. It's not always like a negative thing to be firm about something. They move forward together. They act on something together. They manifest things together. So they are very much a team. You can't assume that in relationships. So I'm getting the energy of them, and despite any odds, anything that comes across their path, being communicative, telling each other ahead of time. Okay, so they want to prevent holes, like people from trying to come in and sink into their mind or to affect them negatively. They're very much a united front in some way. So we're getting that energy already. Let's get into how Blake feels internally here. Okay, so internally she feels the world. the Ten of Pentacles, and the Emperor. Oh my gosh. She sees him as her man. She sees him as the Emperor. She sees him as family. She sees him as someone she can transition with, someone she can travel with, someone that she can move into something with. She sees him as her legacy. She sees him as a father, and rightly so, a father of their child, of their children. When you have a guy that you really feel comfortable with energetically, they come out usually as the Emperor, unless they're tyrannical. The Emperor came out with the Ten of Pentacles and the World. So there's this energy of transitions, huge transitions for these two. Now, the World is something that I feel like is really interesting. I feel like it can mean that she wants to go somewhere globally. Like she sees that there's something that they can do. They can go to other regions of the world. They can do amazing things and help other people. There's like a philanthropic and also like a humanitarian vibe to this. So it could mean that she just feels like she can go wherever life takes her with him. That's how it feels for this reading. So let's continue. Let's keep going. Let's look at one thing here. Let's look at the tea leaves for her internal feelings. What are her internal feelings really depicting? What is the tea on the internal feelings that she has? We have great good fortune. Look at that. Like that's basically her saying, I feel internally like he's my legacy. He's a part of my legacy. He's my man. Like I said, I just feel like I'm hearing he's my man. He's someone that she's really committed to. She sees him as the Emperor. She sees like he's like a great, good, fortunate person to be with. Okay, so let's keep going. She says you feel, interesting, it says you feel something is lacking in her life. Maybe money, love, or goals. So she feels like there's something missing. She wants more excitement with him. Let's keep going. She feels like there's more that they should do, okay? Great happiness. So she's happy. She's trying not to think too much about the things that she feels are lacking in the relationship. You will be shown the way. She feels like in time, she can transition into something better with him. She feels like right now they're kind of in a place where it's like, you know, I'm really happy and content. That contented feeling is coming through this reading. But I feel like she still thinks there's more that she wants. There's more that she wants to experience. We have discord among families, among friends or family. So there's some discord there. So we're going to address that discord because we have Fair Woman, which is her energy. So this is definitely her. So let's get into the discord. Can you please clarify the discord amongst friends or family? Okay, a goal. So she, because these two cards fell on her card here, says that she's a goal-oriented person. So Blake is a goal-oriented person, but she's a little prideful. So the pride can kind of get into situations where she feels like she can do certain things or she's more independent. She feels a little bit more independent, and I think Ryan sometimes, I feel like he had to instill or help instill or facilitate the trust factor of trusting that he can help and facilitate things with her. That it doesn't have to be her against everything or her against the world, her taking on everything alone. Some things you can do independently, but I feel like she also can trust that he can help her and facilitate it. I think she, in her mind, I think she has a lot of air. Please let me know in the comments below. I do not look at that on purpose because I don't want to bias and come into this reading thinking, oh, I have her chart, therefore I know her. That's not how that works for me personally. I feel like it's important to just look at her energy currently to see where she's at, because you can have family members that are other signs. That will greatly impact how you present in your signs and in your chart. Discord among family or friends. So she feels like she kind of can cause discord because she kind of goes against the grain. I think she has thought processes that are a bit distinct from Ryan, and distinct in the sense that family on his side as well don't really understand it. And I think they had to learn and understand how to compromise and also how to see other perspectives. I feel like in the beginning of the relationship, she felt like she was always kind of like, I'm hearing cutting edge. She felt like she was having all these information and insights that Ryan was like, whoa, I didn't think of it like that. And she's like, yeah, it's kind of normal for me to think like that. So she just had to, and says someone is behaving stupidly. So it's honestly family or friends that were behaving a little bit more immature in the beginning of the relationship. I think they still sometimes can be a little bit picky or a little bit nitpicky with her. And this can happen for like years. Your in-laws, sometimes it can be periodically. You know, they come up and they say something stupid to you. They offend you in some way. They try to make you feel like you're not good enough for their child or their family member. So I feel like she had some in and outs with some people in his side, Ryan's side of the family, that did not like her. They thought she would be out and she was not. And I'm hearing floozy type energy, like they thought she was someone that was going to come in and then just leave. Not happening, and it didn't happen. So I feel like sometimes they have to deal with that. Anyway, that's some tea on that one, because I know some people really want to know certain little aspects of their experience, and I understand that. So position of authority, she has a lot of position of authority in the relationship. She is actually a great, she takes on tasks really well. I think she's really good at finding, strategizing on a plan if they have to do something in some endeavor. She has a lot of authority in the relationship, and that is her rightful place. Every person, there's like different parts in which you're valuable, and like you're really good at doing one thing or the other. You guys should just decide to work together and like do what you're good at, and the other person will do what they're good at. I feel like she's just a really authoritative energy. Okay, so what's her external feeling? We had the Death card come out, right? We also have the Three of Cups. She wants people to see that they're a very fun-loving couple. Also that they're very responsive to physical attacks, or like when people try to speak ill of one person, very quick. I'm hearing quips. They're very good with quips. I feel like they almost like might even like think of quips to say, like if someone tries to talk shit about one of the two. So there's this energy of just them being prepared. So being prepared on what to say when something arises. We also have the Four of Swords. They're also at peace within themselves, with the relationship. That is so necessary, guys. If you don't have the Four of Swords energy where you feel at home or rest with someone, you get kind of like high off of the toxicity, or high off the excitement, the adrenaline boost, you know, the adrenaline that courses through your veins. But like friendship is at the root of this. Look at that. These two have gone through so many lessons and so many challenges and so many, I'm hearing synchronicities, like their life, they aligned at the right time in their life, despite whatever difficulties they experienced. I'm just getting the energy. With you seeing 3, 4, and 5, they went through like synchronicities like nobody's business. I feel like they probably saw that. I don't know how Ryan feels about it. Specifically Ryan, I'm asking like, how does he feel about synchronicities? I'm not sure if he really sees them as strongly, but I just feel like they are really good friends. 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups. Good. I feel like they have mental, like, they have grown in mental agility because of the questions that I think they ask each other. I think they sharpen each other, and they mightn't go into like verbal like arguments about really big topics and really important topics to them, but it actually sharpens them. It doesn't break them apart as strongly. So yeah, marriage will take place, and that's what they have. They have a really strong, so far what I see is a solid connection here. Let's get into his internal feelings, because that's important here. We have the Page of Cups, okay? Let's keep going. 3 of Wands. 10 of Swords. The Tower. The Queen of Wands. The Queen of Cups. And the 8 of Pentacles. He sees her as a money maker in the sense that she's able to acquire things for herself. Very entrepreneurial, very independent, very determined, very motherly, very soft. She has both dynamics coming in. She feels like really a well-rounded person to him. And I also feel like he sees her as a work, like I said, a work partner, someone that he can actually team up with the 8 of Pentacles. That's all about work. The reason why I said what I said was the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups are like 2 queens. He sees her as such. The Tower is saying that he sees her also as someone who has broken something with him. Like she broke through some big oppressive energies with him. He talks fast, I feel like, because I'm getting the words like that. So his energy is really quick. I wonder if he has like he kind of like tries to talk as fast as he thinks. I feel like he has a lot of thoughts. 3 of Wands. He feels like he can move into transitioning or move into a new place, new territory, new thought processes very easily with her. Page of Cups is the most important thing, I feel like, and that's the inner child. He feels like he can be fun with her. He can be flirty with her. That's something that denotes vulnerability as well, because flirtatiousness is not what really shows the vulnerability. It's more so the inner child of letting that show. It's really easy to hide it and to act like you're always an adult. You always have everything going like the way it should. But to actually let people in on what your dreams, your goals, your desires are, it takes vulnerability. So he has that for her. Wowzers. So with regards to his external vibe, he sees Judgment, the Hierophant, the Ace of Pentacles. He respects her greatly. The King of Cups is in reverse, though, for how he sees her externally. He tries to get all the ooey-gooeyness of the relationship. He tries to kind of like protect it, because he wants to present her, or like present the relationship with her and him as respectful as he can. He tries to focus on her gifts. He focuses on her creative ventures, her work. With regards to how he externally treats her, he focuses on all of her merits rather than focusing on the ooey gooey, like, let me just like kiss you everywhere in PDA. That can happen, but I feel like he wants her to be a very individualized person. He respects her to her core, to where he wants her to be seen as a serious person out there. She does have her own career path. I mean, I would want to see that in a partner. So I'm seeing like just the energy of him being like respectful towards her, wanting to give her credit where it's due. Interesting. There was a card I did that was supposed to be for like what's between them. And what's interesting is I believe it was this Nine of Pentacles. Let's look into that. So what we have for him, someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. Ryan Reynolds is quite the stubborn guy. What's his sign? I'm going to look into that later, but good advice from a wise person. I think she was the owl in his life. She gave him great advice. He needed her. He needed an energy like her, even if he didn't need specifically her, but I think she catered to so many things that spiritually she needed and he needed, both of them. Very complementary people. Something important such as a new job or raise. I feel like he had a new job or raise, or had new like advancements in his career path after meeting her, because she gave him wise counsel. Blake. Dog barking, advice from a friend. I feel like she's a friend to him. I feel like he takes her very seriously. August is significant for him. Is he a Leo? I don't know if he has a specific Leo placement that's coming through, but August is significant to these two. And if not now, it will be August. Wealth. A lot of wealth is coming into his life. Peace and harmony. Look at that, guys. Is there anything else that we don't know and that we should know? Let's keep going here. Heartache over what you no longer have. I feel like he had his heart on his sleeve when he met her. I feel like she came at a time where he was facing heartbreak and experiencing it with someone or from someone that he used to be with. If you guys know that person, I would love to know. But I feel like the energy of him healing while she came into his life. And that was when the most difficult part of the situation was finally over. She was the rainbow at the end. She was the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. He felt like he had to learn how to be happy. I feel like he had heartbreak over this past person. So if you guys know it, let me know. Spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. There's so much awareness and understanding between these two. It feels like they came to an understanding of something, and it's like springtime. Spring to summer is very significant for them. I don't know when they got married. Is there anything else you'd like to say, sir? We have so many cards coming through for these two. Right. Let's see. So successfully overcoming a problem. They built a bridge together. When I think of the building of a bridge, I think of the lovers' energy, because the lovers, they have to build a bridge together in order to meet in the middle. And I feel like there were problems that they had that they resolved in the beginning of the relationship. So they were able to come to a resolution. I'm not sure if they had therapy of some kind, but something was resolved in their relationship in the beginning of the relationship. Anything else you can say about that we wouldn't know? And work, achievement, success, and So Ant is the energy of coming together with someone. It's the energy of like seeing the potential in multiple people coming together in order to succeed in an endeavor. Seeing the small parts in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things. I feel like they're able to work together and they build something beautiful with that. They're very hardworking people here. Okay, so let's look at archetypes between these two. This is what I really love doing because not many people do it the same way. Everyone does it their own way. I feel like archetypes are a big part of understanding two people. What is Blake Lively's archetype here? Vampire. Okay, she's very straightforward. If she feels like you're draining her life force, she will tell you. And I feel like she had to say to Ryan, hey, I know that you're being a little bit, I feel like you're being codependent in this area. And I feel like she would say stuff that was very frank and very blunt. And he was like, whoa, that's what the issue is. She's very good at being frank. Very good at being frank with him. I feel like this card is also her. Thief sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Very empowering energy. She's a very empowering force. She's not about the like lovey-dovey in the sense where you guys are doing toxic shit together. She's the one that says, no, we can love each other healthy and we cannot have the codependent behaviors that get us into like really messed up situations. Very empowering. Damsel. Look at that. Damsel. And that's understanding the nature of healthy romance. The cards are saying the same thing, so you guys are definitely supposed to know that. Okay. Gossip awakens consideration for the feelings of others. Damn, these cards are going everywhere. And Teacher. So she honors trust and she's able to communicate knowledge, experience, and wisdom. Like I said, she is very cerebral. She is really smart. I feel like Blake Lively is a really good person to have in your corner because she will not tell your secrets. She will not talk to people about your shit. She's very much a good wife to him, and this is what I'm getting. We all have our own things going on, right? We all have our own setbacks or needs for improvement in some way. We all need to grow in some way, but right now she's showing me all of the very foundational components of what makes a relationship work. Companion is what we have for Ryan. He is loyal, tenacious, and unselfish. That's like a warm, that's like a hug. I'm getting the energy of just him being a very great person to hug or him hugging her. Very loyal person. You need someone who's resilient through difficulties. When you guys are having issues and problems that need to be resolved, you need to be able to talk to each other and you need to be able to trust each other. You need to be able to stick by each other when shit gets real. It's easy to fall in love with people that you're attracted to and have chemistry with, but there's something here about longevity with these two. Freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. So he is really good at addressing destructive impulses as well. He's like, you don't see how this affects you. This is something that I've noticed. I feel like I'm hearing like conversations. He's a very smart, okay, so he's the seeker. I'm tooting their horn because I think they deserve to if I'm getting all these cards that are this positive. Goddess, okay? And you can say, oh yeah, this is the light attribute, of course it's positive. And I feel like some readings, I feel like Spirit's saying, nah, there's some shadow attributes you have to talk about. With these two, I want to start off with the light attributes because their relationship feels very, very transformative. Wow, Mentor and Goddess. The feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality, and passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Okay, very, very small. I heard small, so I don't know who's watching this. Liberator and child magical, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. I feel like as I was tapping into this energy, I feel like there's someone that's trying to evil eye me, and I feel like I know exactly who it is, and I feel like there is a reason you're here. So, okay. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So he's just a liberator. He's just a mentor. He wants to instill wisdom. He seeks out wisdom for himself. I feel like he looks into things. That's why they have such heated conversations about huge controversial topics or political topics or things like that. They talk about stuff real deep, and and Blake is very good with holding things in the sense of like holding information that he relays to her in. Freeing himself, he's good at freeing both of them, with the Exorcist and the Liberator, guys, these two are really, really a force to be reckoned with in the industry. I feel like they have a lot of wisdom between the two of them and a lot of intel between the two of them. Okay, Detective, look at that. Great powers of observation and intuition. Desire to seek out the truth. You guys, be careful if you don't want them to know stuff. If you don't want them to realize things, I mean, you should probably not talk to them too much. Networker, they're really good at networking. Between the two of them, let's look at their shadows. What's a shadow for Blake Lively, or shadows that we can look into here? We got one, warrior. Okay, that's the shadow. That shadow attribute is trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. Okay, what's interesting about this one here is I recently did a reading on Amber Heard, and what's interesting about Amber is that there's a situation where I look into the Akashic records often, and I look into like history and how people relate to history and how they would respond based on their energy, because we're all on a trajectory and we go through different timelines to learn lessons. At least some of us do, not all of us do. I feel like the people that are more evolved tend to go through through different timelines and different things in history. And I felt like Amber was like the kind of energy that I would see in a time frame back in slavery. Someone got really triggered by that and projected on me this image of her being the person that was a slave master rather than the person experiencing slavery. There are people that were experiencing it that did not agree with it, that were also very silent. And I want someone, I feel like that person needs to hear this. That person, Amber, is her own person, and I don't think anyone should try to give power to someone in the sense where they think that the person is talking down to that person because they experienced or act like a person that experienced slavery. It's a big part of our history, okay? I feel like she's the warrior who's been through a lot of difficulties, and when you are trying to achieve victory at any cost, sometimes you end up sacrificing aspects of your ethics or your morals. This is very common in order to attribute to something greater or to some greater good. Okay, so I'm getting that energy, not the same as Amber, but I want to just rectify and address that with someone here, because I feel like they went from 0 to 100 with that topic. And I feel like for me, I'm not afraid to talk about topics like that. I feel like those topics are pretty well integrated in society and we talk about it a lot. So the fear is definitely a projection. But anyway, I wanted to talk about that because Blake, I feel like she's been through some really difficult situations in Hollywood where she had to look at her ethical principles and say, hey, I'm not going to let them do X, Y, or Z. I'm not going to agree to X, Y, or Z. But I'm going to have to step over some situations or some knowledge I have on a person and try to do something for the greater good with that person. Something like that is coming through where she's known about some really sus things that someone's done, but she was looking at the ethical point of the project or of the initiative and trying to focus in on that, because as a warrior, she had to fight some bigger fight than that person. Sometimes it's like, sometimes you can't make it black and white, okay? I feel like I need to say that to someone. Let's keep going, because the energy is getting better. Okay, visionary. Let's see. So, okay, Blake says visionary, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. That is exactly the same thing. So she's had to compromise some things, and she doesn't like that. She didn't like that she had to compromise it, but she did it for a higher purpose. And we have another one that says compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over her inner spirit. She has some addictive tendencies here. We're a hedonist, so something about pleasure, something about like her senses. Maybe she does a little too much of overeating, overindulging with certain things. That's what they're trying to say with the addicts. What about Ryan? What are some tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment? So just an energy of I feel like this is something that happened in the beginning, especially. I feel like he had a tendency to not see the gratitude that he would have for a person in his life, and he would abuse their trust, or in the sense of like abusing the fact that they were there for him So I feel like in the past he has some grief over experiencing that, of having people that probably were good people in his life, good exes, like people that were like in relationship with him, and he felt like he didn't treat them well enough or didn't honor them well enough, and he learned that lesson with Blake. Something like that. And we also have negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. He's had to work and hold hands with some people that he would prefer not to hold hands with. Same as Blake, and it's because they're married. They've had to do it together. Okay. Don Juan, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Very, very, very cerebral. I'm sure he had to do some... I'm hearing kiss a few frogs. Like he had to kind of like go along with some romantic agenda. Maybe someone was interested in him in the industry, and he had to just kind of go along with their interest to achieve something. It doesn't mean he gave it to them, but he definitely has used his romantic charm to convince people. Hedonist. Okay. He also has a hedonist. They're very similar in their shadows. Pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. They're both indulgers. They indulge a lot in something specific. I'm going to look into that. And offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So misusing authority in some way. I feel like they get back at people in the industry. People that maybe thought they were going to align with them in something, and then they said, ha, gotcha. I was going to say something. I just feel like that meme is very, very noteworthy. I feel like they are very focused on avoiding. They're very good at calculating risks and assessing what they should do and what they have to do in order to get through. And then they abuse that or misuse it. Kind of a Bonnie Clyde type. It's not like stealing, literally, but more so integrating. Better than Bonnie and Clyde, actually, integrating situations. Like if they feel forced to do something, they try to use it to their advantage to get something out of it that they wanted. So that's the archetype there. Wow. God at the bottom of the deck. Let's look at some like facts, some things about them with regards to these archetypes here. What do you mean by like their pursuing of pleasure? They do what makes them happy. They might have some like thing that they do constantly that is kind of like a guilty pleasure together because they're both getting the same energy. Psychic ability, they might go to psychics, or they might go to some astrologer. They might indulge in knowing more about the future, or more about with their writing. They might spend a lot of money with regards to writing or of like books. Temptation will test you. So this doesn't have to be a terrible addiction. But they do have a deep friendship with someone of the same sex. So they might have a lot of tea. Like they might have a tea collection, a lot of teas, literal teas. And they just maybe spend more time like chatting. They drink a lot of tea. September is significant. So doing something in September of every year, or doing things in the summertime. Something about summer, like drinking certain things, maybe sweet teas. But they do, it doesn't seem like something that's too, let's see how crazy it is, because I don't feel that. Family matters. So just a lot of social gatherings with family, announcement. And we have happiness and well-being. So yeah, they might just drink something specific, and for some reason I'm thinking like kombucha, not specifically that, it doesn't have to be that, but like a certain type of tea or drink that they love and they just can't get over it. That's what they're talking about. And it's funny because it's like whatever gives them pleasure is what they'll focus on. Okay, whatever drink, whatever social thing like within their circle that someone tells them they should try, they'll try it. We have karma. You will reap what you have sown, though. So it's going to bite back a little bit. They should be careful with how much they ingest of certain drinks. Okay, so that is what I have for you guys. I feel like I can do one more thing. Let's see if my camera will let me. What is Blake healing in this relationship? Oh wow, that went all the way over. New day and new beginnings. New is what she's getting into. Creating a new timeline, creating a new reality, and not choosing every single step of the way. The manifestation that we got, the magician, that's her energy. I feel like she has Gemini placements that are coming through. So yeah, I feel like she's all about manifesting, and Ryan has helped her chart a new path for herself. I think he's bolstered her creativity a lot. So she sees the newness of life through his eyes and through her own. Like she has her own set plans, but she wants to coexist with him and their family. So there's something new about, there's something beautiful and fresh about that. What about Ryan? Because she has new. He has abundance. He sees the abundance that life has to offer him. Wow. And he sees that she brought a lot of transformation his way that he probably would have experienced differently, even more harshly. Is there anything else? We have it's all good, seeing that the past was the past and not having to look back and relish on some relationship or some person and anger. So with these 3, 13, 18, and 28, there's a lot of 8s involved as well, and 4. So stability, moving quickly into your abundance. He moved quickly into his abundance because of this relationship and the dynamic. I'm hearing trainer. He felt like Blake was like his trainer in a sense in life, because he felt like he was learning so many lessons and he was seeing how everything is connected and it's all good. He can have peace about the past. He can have peace about where he is currently in his life. He can have peace about taking the right turn for him and not thinking about all of the possibilities. I feel like he can get into his mental space where he thinks, I think in the beginning, early on, he used to have this mentality of like, someone save me. Like, I feel like I need to be brought out of different realities and different experiences and different timelines. And now he's recognizing that they're all connected, that he's not missing out on anything when he's with Blake. I also feel like anger is something he's healing, because I feel like he had some anger that he projected onto Blake in the beginning of the relationship because of relationships in the past. He might have even tried to push her away in the past. And because of that, he recognized, wow, this person's not going anywhere. They're not budging. And there's something about them choosing each other, but also like of not letting the anger and projections and the unhealed things remain behind a glass door to protect. They began to take it out and allow themselves to heal it. So these two, I don't see anything wrong with them. I mean, they can have their ups and downs. We have inner journey at the bottom, right? Self-love, going through that inner journey of self-love and perception and seeing that they created this. They're empowered by that. Now, I want to look at something else here. I want to look at their trajectory. Where can we see them going? Where are they heading, Spirit, on this current trajectory? Strength is about resilience, but it's also about stubbornness. So they're holding on. They're holding on to this relationship. But what else are we seeing? We have the 8 of Wands. Okay. And we have the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the 7 of Cups, and the 3 of Pentacles. I think they're going to explore more of this relationship together. I feel like they have yet to feel like they're at the end of the road. They feel like there's literally like way more things they have to learn and uncover with each other. So they literally feel like their trajectory just feels like, hey, let's look at these pockets of information about each other and things that we want to do. It's very explorative. Interesting. Anything else, Spirit? We have the Magician again and the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like the energy of not only work partnerships, like working together, but there's a generosity here. What is their trajectory? Opportunity. Continuing to be in this relationship, this partnership. 9 of Swords, 4 of Swords. I feel like from time to time they worry about like things getting cold in some way. Like in the lulls between these pockets of information and opportunity that they have, they feel like they have to keep going past some divots and some lulls, because they feel like, I think this was a fear of theirs in the past. I feel like they had to put that to rest. So I feel like one of them always comes to the other's aid and says, hey, it's like recognizing like, shh, like just don't worry about it. Like, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk through this when we can. But there was someone in the relationship, it was like maybe between the two, I'm hearing oscillating. One would think, oh my gosh, what's happening to us? Are we happy? Are we at peace? And then the other would be like, no, it's okay. And that would help calm the other person. 9 of Wands and the Tower, sometimes they would feel like they were forcing themselves to make it happen. just the doubts would creep in. So that's something they had to watch out for, and those would usually result in moments of growth and expansion, because they would talk through it and they'd be at peace again, and then something would happen, something would transition for them. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you will join me as a member below with the link that I have in the description box. I'm going to be doing more members exclusive readings and lives, so feel free to join, also to see what I'm offering for those memberships, and also tune in for more. See you guys soon. Bye.